Hi, we are going to learn the Ionian Mode 1 CAGED system. The Ionian Mode 1 is created by the C major scale. The C major scale is a very special scale. The Ionian Mode 1 is the first degree of the C major scale. The Ionian Mode 1 formula half step between the third and the fourth, and half step between the 7 and the 8. The Ionian Mode 1, the only keys that has all natural note or tones is the key of C, the C Ionian. The remaining keys we need to apply accidental to it according to the Ionian Mode 1 formula. Usually we use a sharp. I'm gonna let it play forward for part number 1 through part number 5, and then let it play in reverse. I just turn it on like this and play it for a minute or two, or even longer, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, to train my ear on all the scale that I learn, all the arpeggio I learn, all the mode I learn. Ear training, I sing with it. Okay, let display fingering, let display interval, let display degree. Let's go back to note. Okay, part number 1. You start playing from the lowest note, the E, open E on 6th string. Play up the step until you reach the G on 1st string, 3rd fret. Okay, and then you go back in descending from the G 1st string, 3rd fret, until you reach the open E, the 6th string. Okay. You see the root for part number 1 on 5th string, 3rd fret. Walk up the step. You see another root on 2nd string, 1st fret. That 1 octave right there. From the root on 2nd string, 1st fret, if you walk up the step until you play the G on 1st string, 3rd fret, that note belongs to the above octave. So the D, the E, the F, the G in blue, they belong to the above octave or higher octave. The black note, they belong to below octave. When you find the root, step up or step down to find the other root, make it 1 octave. If you play all the note on the first pattern, you're playing 17 note or 17 tone instead of from root to root only 7 tone or 7 note. Alright, part number 1, it has a neighbor as part number 2. So part number 2 has a neighbor is part number 1. Part number 1 and part number 2, they share some common notes. Look at note on second and third fret of part number 1. This note are carried over to create part number 2. As you can see, the identical note on the same fret number. The most important note to carry over for part number 1 is the root, the C on 5th string, 3rd fret. Look at part number 2. See that? Let's turn the fingering on. The root we carry from part number 1 on 5th string, 3rd fret, we use the ring finger. But when it carry over on part number 2, we use the middle finger to play that root. Now see that? Part number 2, 5th string, 3rd fret. Part number 2 also have a root or a tonic note on 3rd string, 5th fret, and we use the pinky to play that root. Let's turn the note on. See that? Part number 1 start play on the G, go up the step, you see the first root, the C on 5th string, 3rd fret. Walk up the step, you see another root on 3rd string, 5th fret. There you go, your main octave. Continue walk up the step until you play the last note on 1st string, 5th fret, the A of part number 2. Now go back in descending. Train your finger. Okay. Part number 2 also have a neighbor as part number 3. The other neighbor of part number 2 is part number 1. Part number 2 and part number 3, they share some common notes. Look at fret number 4, 5, and 6 of part number 2. These notes are carried over to create part number 3. You see that they are identical in the same fret number. The most important note to carry over from part number 2 is the root on 3rd string, 5th fret. You see on part number 3, it's also on 3rd string, 5th fret. Now part number 3 has all the root on 1st string, 8th fret, also on 6th string, 8th fret. Let's turn the fingering on. The root that we carry over from part number 2 on 3rd string, 5th fret, we use a pinky to play that root. But on part number 3, we change it to the middle finger. Look at part number 3, 3rd string, 5th fret. And on part number 3, we use a pinky to play the root on 1st string, 8th fret, also on 6th string, 8th fret, and we use a pinky to play that root. Okay. Part number 3 has a neighbor as part number 2. It also have a neighbor as part number 4. Let's turn back to note. Part number 3 and part number 4, they share some common note. Look at frets 7 and 8 of part number 3. These notes are carried over to create part number 4. The most important note to carry over from part number 3 is the root on 6th string 8th fret, the C. C on part number 4, also on 6th string 8th fret, and 1st string 8th fret. Part number 4 also have a root on 4th string 10th fret. Let's turn the fingering on. You see the root that we carry over from part number 3, 6th string 8th fret? We use a pinky to play that root. But on part number 4, we're using the middle finger to play that root now. Also on 1st string 8th fret, we use a middle finger to play that root. And we use a pinky to play the root on 4th string 10th fret. Look at part number 4, 4th string 10th fret. You see? Turn on the note. Okay, part number 4 has neighbor at part number 3, also neighbor as part number 5, or part number 5 has a neighbor at part number 4. Part number 4 and part number 5, they share some common note. Look at notes on the 9th fret and the 10th fret of part number 4. These notes are carried over to create part number 5. Identical note if you're looking at them. Same fret number 9, 10. The most important note to carry over from part number 4 to create part number 5 is the root, the C on 4th string 10th fret. Look at part number 5, 4th string 10th fret. Part number 5 also have the other root on 2nd string 13th fret, the C. Let's turn the fingering on. See the root that carry over from part number 4 to create part number 5 on 4th string 10th fret. We use a pinky to play that root with part number 4. But when it carry over part number 5, we use a middle finger to play that root. Look at part number 5, 4th string 10th fret. And part number 5, we use a pinky to play the root on 2nd string 13th fret. Okay. So overall, just find the root and walk up the root or walk down from the root. Find the other root to make an octave. It doesn't matter what pattern you're working on, same technique. Find the root, find the other root, make an octave. Everything play above belong to the above octave. Everything play note that play below the octave belong to lower octave. Play a couple notes from part number 1. Apply technique bending the string, sustain, hammer on, hammer off, vibrate. Put your feeling into it. Repeat the notes, skip couple notes, then slide over part number 2. Do the same thing. Play couple note, apply technique on the note you play, and then slide over part number 3. Do the same things. Play a couple note, put your feeling onto it, put technique onto the note that you play, and slide over number 4. Do the same thing. Couple note, slide, hammer on, hammer off on a couple note, bend the note, and then slide over part number 5. Do the same thing. Play couple note. Keep doing it, and you will be able to come up with a lick one day. You know, if you keep practicing. And now go in descending. Play a couple notes from part number 5 and then slide down the neck. Do the same thing to number 4. Play a couple notes. Apply bending. Hammer on, hammer off. Bend the note, sustain, and then slide over part number 3. Do the same thing. Play a couple notes. Put your feeling onto it. And then slide down the neck. Do number 2. Same thing. And then end up at part number 1. It takes time to master anything you learn, you know. There is 29 type of modes, 47 type of scale. There are 14 type of arpeggio, and in 12 keys. So not too many people can remember them all, but it's good to go through them. The best way for me is I master one key, either scale, arpeggio, or mode. I master the 5 individual position or pattern, and then I master the CAGED one key. I master it. The rest of the other scale type, mode type, arpeggio type, same way to learn. They all have 5 patterns. They all have their own formula. Here is the other view with the 6th string or low E on top, 1st string or high E at the bottom. The technique learning is the same. Fingering position the same. The finger you use for the root the same. Everything's the same. It's just different view. 6th string on top, 1st string at the bottom. I like to view it like this. It's easy for me. I don't have to think converting anything. But it's good to know both view. 1st string on top or 6th string on top. Learn both styles. Okay, I'm gonna let it play in ascending from part number 1 through part number 5, and then I will let it play in reverse at fast speed to train my ear. I put it on loop at home and keep playing for 3 I can let it display fingering, interval, degree, going back to note. I also have video for the C Ionian mode 1 individual pattern or position from 1 to 5 for you to view. I hope this lesson helped you, and see you later.